I'm at the airport once again. That's no surprise, obviously, on this channel, but this airport is different. This airport has parking and food and decent coffee. This isn't Moorabbin. This is Essendon Airport. Essendon's one of a few airports that Melbourne has. Moorabbin you'll be familiar with, that's where I normally fly out of. Avalon, which we have as well, and then Melbourne's Tullamarine, which is the main domestic and international terminal. Essendon gets a lot of corporate and charter flights coming out of here, and some private, and there's a company I'm visiting today at the airport who've got a brand new aircraft, and crazily, they've asked me to fly it for them. This is the Vulcanair V1. Let me introduce you to Paul. How are you?
Hello.
So what are we looking at here today, mate?
As you say, it's the Vulcanair V1 from the Italian manufacturer. 4-seat, 3-door aircraft, high wing with a 180 horsepower Lycoming engine. So we're going to have a look at it in a minute, and then we're going to go for a fly. Probably the first thing you notice is it has 3 doors. So we think this is pretty handy for passengers. We reckon it's probably going to get used a bit as a farm runabout, so I wouldn't be surprised if a few sheep or hay bales end up in there as well, Steph. You notice looking this way towards the pilot's door, you can see the pilot's doors are cut down, so they have really good visibility. You can see on these front doors here, we've also had these lovely little vents installed just for Australia because it's pretty warm here, isn't it? So you can open these on the ground or in flight. Full glass cockpit here. It's a Garmin G500 and the GTN650 here. So it's very well equipped. It does have a constant speed unit, you can see from the control column here. It's just a lovely little design. Another thing about visibility is a lot of instructors have sat in this right hand seat and said they love the fact that it has the backup instrument in the middle, so they can fly from this seat, look here and look at the engine analyzer, and don't really need to be looking over at the main instrument panel. Tailplane, which just gives wonderful control. It's a beautiful, easy aircraft to fly. The flaps come down to 40 degrees, so great flaps for short landing, and it just gets off and takes off on a sixpence.
Compared to something like the other aircraft that some of the viewers might fly, what sort of speeds are you talking about for things like rotation, cruise speed?
Rotation speed's about 65, Steph, and climb out at about 80. Approach speed is 70 knots. Back to about 51 knots for the actual landing. It bleeds off the speed very quickly. Cruise speeds, again, how much fuel do you want to burn? You're sort of in the 125 to 130 knot range.
Now, a lot of people, me included, when you see this, first of all, this looks a lot like a 172, right? That kind of the shape. It's a very familiar shape. But I have to ask, if I wanted to buy one of these?
In Australian dollars, delivered to Australia on the register, all up, you're looking at about 425,000 Australian dollars. It's brand new.
Brand new, right.
We'd do you a deal probably, Stefan.
Well, let's fly it first and then
I never realised that at Essendon you actually taxi across the main road.
Yeah, there's not many places in the world where you have an aircraft crossing as opposed to a railway crossing. On the floor, fuel flow in the green, airspeed alive, 65 knots and rotate. Anytime you're ready, we're level at 1500, you're welcome to take control, just fly straight, heading of about 096, I think that's the shopping centre there.
096, okay.
Or just at the shopping centre will do, because we are VFR and he did say the shopping centre. Yep.
Victor Oscar, India, just slightly left of track, Doncaster is about 3 miles and you're 11 o'clock, you've left Class Charlie airspace control service terminated.
Victor Oscar, India, shopping centre in sight and squawking VFR. See you a bit later in the day. And just in about a couple of miles when we go outside the 2,500 foot step, we can just climb up as high as we like.
Okay.
Up to 4,000.
Yeah, it'd be nice to get out the lumps over these hills.
Yeah, exactly.
As that wind's picking up though, you're going to expect it down low.
You think this is rough? The day I flew this in Italy, it was the roughest day of all time. I learned to fly in Wellington, you know, which is pretty rough.
Yeah.
And man, the day in Italy, it was just incredible.
Oh no. You can fly as long as you want, but to be honest, I don't know anyone who actually enjoys turbulence.
No.
I think the worst flight I ever had was in the outback going from Forest to Kalgoorlie.
Yeah?
It was about a 3-hour leg, and pretty much from takeoff, it was the afternoon desert convective stuff.
Yeah.
And it was just brutal. God, I felt quite like I've been in a boxing fight at the end of it.
We're doing pretty well. We're getting up there, aren't we? And we're still well clear of the cloud.
Yeah. I think it was said to be, it was coming in about 5,000 this afternoon, the cloud.
It's much smoother now, isn't it?
Yeah, you can feel the bigger bumps are going, which is good. Well, you never want to speak too soon with turbulence, because that's when it gives you, yeah, there you go. Whenever you say that, it always gives you a little kick, just to remind you that Mother Nature's in control. So now we're established in the cruise, 4,000 feet, heading out to, what's the name of the airfield again, Paul? I forgot.
We're going to Yeyburn, which is close to Yey, north of Melbourne. It's a lovely grass strip close to the Melbourne River.
Awesome. Alright, so we're going to try and see if we can get down there and just do a bit of filming down on the ground as well. It's a bit of a choppy day though, because there's a bit of a, I think it's a northerly that's kicking in here in Melbourne at the moment. But we're holding it nicely and it's nice and stable. Who's this plane aimed at?
Well, I think there's three audiences. Probably the main audience is the training market. You'll notice that it's built of metal, aluminium, and it's built tough.
Yeah.
It's built for the training market. It's a 4-seat with a full glass cockpit. Farm runabout in Australia. It's built tough, so it's an ideal farm runabout. And there's just as a lot of flying schools that have similar looking aircraft on the flight line that are getting 30 or 40 years old now and becoming really expensive to maintain. Yeah, private owners, station runabout, and training.
So you could do private pilot and commercial training.
You can do commercial, you can go right through, and you've got everything you need for your instrument as well, which is great. At this stage we don't have an autopilot. That will come later with an NXI version later on. And again, it's mixed comments from schools. Some schools want it and some don't.
Well, I do the majority of my instrument rating training without autopilot, so I think everyone else should suffer the same thing as well.
No, it's out there somewhere.
Yeah, that's going to
Now,
be the thing.
is this Yey, and is this the river here? Oh, it's slightly to the left.
Jets are A320 departing off runway 36 at Avalon.
Or I could just go straight at it.
Not overfly the airport.
Even if we have to fly around a couple of times, we'll find it. I can see it, I reckon it's dead straight ahead now. I reckon it's dead straight ahead. I'll stand correct. Just come slightly to the right. And on the other side of that clump of trees, I reckon I can see a runway.
Okay.
I've got to stand corrected though. I've got to stand corrected. So there's a much bigger tree there than since I last was here.
Yeah,
and there's cattle on the strip, so we ain't landing.
Oh yeah, I see.
We'll have to do a run down above the strip. Yeyburn traffic. Victor Oscar India is 1.7 miles to the south. Inbound, we can see some cattle on the strip. If the owner's there, it'd be great if you could shepherd them off for us. We'll just fly around for the moment, Yeyburn. But we can't land with that, I'm sorry.
No, of course we can't.
So we'll just have to head back.
Well, if we have to, we have to, that's alright.
Yeah, isn't that a bummer?
They normally don't move, do they, once they're settled like that?
400, tracking towards
The funny thing is he knew I was coming, you know, like... I just want to make sure that's definitely the strip. That's definitely the strip. We'll do a couple just of circles around, just, who knows, he might appear and get rid of them for us.
They're sitting down as well, Paul.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of them.
That's why we didn't do a straight-in approach, you know?
Yeah. Oh, good old Australian airstrips. Oh, I can't see anyone down. I can see a lot of cows.
Some great pictures of the river down here.
getting inboard very shortly, and I'll be able to...
Okay, let's go back up to, I guess we go to 3.5 this time. Victor Oscar India is the Sugarloaf Reservoir, 2,400 feet, inbound with Mike, request airways clearance, and we're about to squawk 0100.
lovely.
It's the plane that makes me look good, Steph. Don't say that it was me, okay?
No, that was a great landing in the conditions. That was really nice. So is this the first one in the country?
Yeah, it's only number 9 off the production line.
Is it?
Yes, this is literally a brand new aeroplane, right, you know?
Wow. And what was it? You told me the hours before. It's only had
27.
27.
Yeah. I'll tell you something cool. Look, if you hold both these buttons down,
Yeah.
and after a second or two it gives you the tack time and the hobs.
28.5.
Yeah.
She's a baby.
She's a baby. I don't normally fly aircraft this old, but I'm making an exception in this case.
And that's it, mate. Wicked. Thank you, Paul.
Alright, so we understand we're going to be here or there?
We'll go in front. We'll go in front. You're going to be at Avalon, aren't you?
We are going to be at Avalon, so we're going to have a stand at Avalon. We'll have this beautiful Victor Oscar India with about 20 or 30 hours time on the clock, and it'll be with its largest sibling, the P68C twin. So we'll have both of them there. We'll have a stand outside and we'll also have a stand inside as well, so we're pretty easy to find. And of course you can go onto our Facebook page, or you can find us on the internet, or if people want to, they can contact me directly.
Wicked. All right, thank you, Paul. If you see Paul at Avalon Air Show, make sure you say hello. Hope you enjoyed that video. Nice flying with you. Shame about the cattle.
Yeah, it was.
I love cows at the best of times, but not today.